I feel the need for bullshit.
Let's get fucked up indeed. Hello, listeners of Shift Talk. Or should I say Shit Talk? Tonight, Deborah can't be joining us or joining me. She has some more important things to take care of, and I do wish her all the best. And right off the top of the bat, I have to come clean about something. Deborah is not really my sister. That was a joke. Anyway, I've got my real sister, Stacey, on board.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Stacey. Say hello to everybody.
Hi, Ash. Hi, guys. How are you all?
Everybody wave to Stacey. You know the drill now. Even though you can't see her and she can't see you.
I was still waving. You know that.
I was waving on the inside. So, we got a little bit more feedback this week. I'm not sure if everybody's using their real name, but that remains to be seen. So, firstly, from Scarlett, why don't you call yourselves podcast wankers? That should attract some attention. And Scarlett, that's a pretty accurate depiction right now from Arancini Bowles. Mate, you were Arancini Rice last week. Anyway, my mum remarried and I've got a new last name. That explains that. Anyway, there's no way you were siblings. We've already addressed that, champ. From my cousin, no name, no pack drill. Welcome to the family, Deborah. Yeah, we already addressed that too. From Stacey. Here she is. Don't you dare pretend to be brother and sister. Well, that's a bit late for that. From Joe Biden. And it really was Joe. Congratulations on your first 3 episodes of the Nadia Bartel fancast. A new name will really get you in the crosshairs. Okay. From Tom, the sales rep at Dickens Cider. That's actually a real brand of cider. He's a real guy. And he said, you guys made me lol. He's obviously down with the young people language. From Joe Cool, who's actually a really good musician. He's been in a lot of well-known bands that you wouldn't even realise. And I just happen to know him. And I wish he was our producer because he would do a better job than me. Pure magic on your latest episode. I agree. I really feel like the magic was there. From Karen, love the pod today. You're both so in sync with each other. Thank you very much, Karen. And from Scott, no dick and bowls. I listened to the first episode and it got me hooked when you said fuckwit. I even gave you 5 stars. Now, no dick and bowls is not really his surname, but it's a very accurate description of him. He's actually one of my real life best mates and cousin of my ex-wife.
Well, that makes it interesting, doesn't it?
It does. So, Stacey, how has your week been?
Yeah, it's been good, mate. Just busy. You know what it's like with kids and life and trying to keep up with football, of course, because that's the priority. But yeah, no, everything's been pretty good on my end. What about you, mate?
Oh, pretty big week, emotional roller coaster, up and down. Said farewell to my dad for the final time physically. He'll be there in spirit. That was a massive day. I'm going to address one part of that later when it comes to something. And yeah, a couple of people decided that the day was about them and it wasn't. And yeah, let them know all about it.
Absolutely. I watched that video that you made for your dad and that was just, you brought a damn tear to my black heart and that's saying something.
Yeah, I might have teared up about 74 times from the 74 times I've watched it. And yeah, it's just Yeah, I spoke honestly about my dad, and I spoke about him at the funeral. Had one of my sons up on the stage with me. He was really mature for a 15-year-old, and the rest of the family who spoke also did a great job, and a great man got a great send-off that he deserved. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. It looked beautiful. You did a really good job, mate, and Dad's looking down on you, very damn fucking proud of you all.
Yeah, he sure is. And he had two of the last laughs. The first one was when there was a video presentation put together by the funeral directors, and about halfway through it started glitching and pixelating, and that was just the old man saying, "Listen, you bastards, stop fussing over me and switch this shit off and go and get pissed." And then secondly, he got carted away in a Ford because he's a fucking massive Ford man. So unfortunately, it wasn't doing any burnouts or driving very fast, which he'd be
Dad would have been sad about that part, hey?
Very pissed off about that. I'll give you a tip. All right, well, let's get into some more positive stuff, probably. Some news, and I'll kick it off. So, Nadia Bartel is proud of her efforts on the dance floor despite a premature end to her Dancing with the Stars stint on Sunday night. The fashion influencer, whatever that means, and mum of two, admitted she suffered from a case of stage fright in her first outing, but took away some valuable lessons from her second routine before a shock elimination. She said what wasn't a shock, though, was when the judges said her performance felt a bit powdery and really got on their noses. Rock legend Jimmy Page, 80, sparked gossip as he stepped out with stunning girlfriend Scarlett Sabay, 34, in Dubai. The Led Zeppelin guitarist introduced his younger flame to his 52-year-old daughter at a lavish dinner. And let that sink in. 34-year-old girlfriend, 52-year-old daughter.
Yeah, I'm actually having trouble with that. I'm not coping with that.
It raised eyebrows and turned heads, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Age is just a number for this iconic musician who shows no signs of slowing down in his love life. There's hope for me yet.
Yeah, but then there's also the fear of how old's he going to be when they pop out the next baby?
And there will be one.
Yeah, there will be. With the 24-year-old girlfriend, there has to be. She's got to get her money's worth. Ash, don't say things like that.
This is not such a very positive or happy one. Brazilian actor Tommy Schiavo, never heard of him, has died at the age of 39. I have heard of him since he died, after falling from a balcony at his second-floor apartment. Investigators reviewed surveillance cameras at the property, which showed the moment he was sitting and then went to lie on the floor. After several minutes on the floor, Schiavo stood up but lost his balance and tipped over the railing. The married father of one fell about 13 feet to the ground and was found lying face down. He was pronounced dead on the scene. So, rip Tommy, I've seen all of your movies today.
No, more than me.
The Perth-raised fiancé of AFL star Rory Lobb has shared the details behind the sticky situation that led to her meeting her husband-to-be. In a TikTok video, advertising executive Lexi Mary revealed that she initially attempted to keep her relationship under wraps because of an unlikely conflict of interest. Her stepfather was the Fremantle Dockers CEO back when the big Raw star was playing for him, no doubt. 3 days after the breakup of the relationship with her previous boyfriend, Lexi put her foot down, saying she had been too sad for too long and single for too long. I'm going to reply to a message that Rory sent me a couple of days ago. She then shared a screenshot of the power couple's first Instagram DM, showing that Rory simply yet effectively wrote, "How's it standing?" Lexi replied a day later with magic, with that little gesture that says, "I don't know," that little emoji. From there, the two organised the first date that Rory still calls a meet and greet. There's a pattern forming here, isn't there?
There is.
And they went to the popular frozen yogurt chain Tutti Frutti. I've been there plenty of times. It's good. And if Tutti Frutti wants to give me some free frozen yogurt, I will accept that and lots of money. I'll even do I'll even do an on-air live read for him. Lexi admitted that even though Rory was disappointed with the expectations after one date, she was still infatuated with him. She said, "I'm not used to being around a big man." As she revealed, Rory is 6 years her senior and about 14 inches longer than the average man. Make of that what you will. Definitely got me covered, that's for sure.
I think he's got most covered, hey?
I have seen him in bike shorts, and I think even Matt Shervington's feeling small.
See, all I can think is that video of the woman holding the ruler going, this many inches is okay.
Yeah, well, I feel sorry for Lexi's cervix.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that'd have to be a cervix buster. No doubt about it.
Patron saint of the show, Sleepy Joe Biden, who sounds remarkably like a 1930s baseball player, pulled out from the US presidential race after catching COVID, announcing that had his dad pulled out years ago, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to be America's first black female president. And finally, a 23-year-old widow has kept the memory of her late husband alive by preserving his ashes inside of her favourite butt plug. You might say, till death do us part.
I mean, I've heard of people turning loved ones into ashes and things, but that really gives a new meaning to your loved one's always going to be inside of you, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, he didn't really die, he just gave it the arse. Oh, jeez, I could think of a lot of better things to do with my life than that. There's a hell of a lot to unpack there.
The last thing I would want to be turned into is at someone's butt plug.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of there's a scene, I think it might have been Big Mama's house, where Big Mama sits on a skinny guy at the beach and stands up and he's wedged between her ass cheeks. And who was the actor in that movie?
I know who you're thinking of.
Yeah, it wasn't Chris Rock. It wasn't one of the Wayans brothers, but he was fucking funny anyway. And the people on TikTok are trying to get him cancelled.
People at TikTok want to get everyone cancelled.
Yeah, it's funny. They tried to get Metallica cancelled because they apparently hated black people, except that one of their members is black.
Yeah, I was going to say, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, Kirk Hammett is actually black, you TikTok dickheads. And Robert Trujillo is Hispanic, and he's also in Metallica. And Lars Ulrich is Danish. So there's like literally one Caucasian American in the band.
But don't ever let the facts get in the way of a good story or a cancel culture.
I mean, it's not even a good story, but like it was funny because, you know, when have you watched Stranger Things?
No, I haven't been able to get into it, but my husband and my teenager love it.
I've never watched it, but one of my teenagers reliably informed me that Master of Puppets, one of Metallica's more popular songs, got an airing on there, and suddenly the TikTokers were all over him. And then somebody discovered a video of James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett goose stepping and doing the Hitler salute on stage whilst making fun of Hitler. They weren't supporting Hitler. They were actually saying, Hitler's fucked. But the TikTokers turned down the volume and just said, look at these guys. They support the Nazis.
It's not even turning down the volume. They literally cut out what they want and they get outraged over it. And it's like, calm the fuck down, people. Life only hurts you as much as you allow it to hurt you.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't been cancelled. a number of times.
Look, we can try for it if you really want to.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Trust me. This episode's probably going to get me in a bit of trouble.
I was going to say, you got the queen of cancellation here.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I might get into some sports unless you've got some news you want to share with us.
No, if you want to get into sports, I'm happy for you to get into sports. I didn't prepare any news today. I've been concentrating on conspiracy theories again.
We like those conspiracy theories here. All right, well, I'll get into sports. So let's kick it off with a bit of the Olympics. Did you know that's starting this week?
Yes, I did, only because work is celebrating it and giving us all teams and teams. I keep calling them teams. It's countries. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me that I can't comprehend that it's countries.
Technically, it's nations.
Okay, make me feel even dumber. Thanks.
I forgot it was on, but then this came up in the news. So apparently the beds in Paris Olympic Athletes Village aren't as anti-sex as first advertised. Following in the footsteps of the Tokyo Games, the Paris Athletes Village feature fully recyclable cardboard beds. So how do you prove they're not going to fall apart with the lightest amount of activity? You've got to test them out.
This is true. I have been watching quite a few TikToks on it.
Aussie tennis stars Daria Saville and Ellen Perez put the beds through their paces. Starting with high knee resistance bands, the worm, whatever that is, squat jumps, step-ups, volley practice, cannonballs, even racket smashing. The bed held up despite several disconcerting noises from the bed as they did it. And they even tested it with sleeping, which it also performed admirably at. And I'm sure there's other things going on, other shenanigans that probably can't be put on TikTok.
Oh, 100%. From what I've gathered, the beds are certainly more anti-sleep than anti-sex.
I mean, you've got all these fit, attractive, beautiful, handsome, muscular, horny people from all around the world that they're catching up with once every 4 years. There's going to be some fucking going on.
Oh, there's totally, absolutely. Look, my kids used to do judo and that, and their old coach and things was a part of the Olympic squads and all of that back in the day. They get plastered with condoms because they know how full on it is over there. You've just won a gold medal or a silver medal and you're young and fit and 22 years old with the fucking rockin' body. Of course and you want to flaunt that shit.
Yes, I have a relative who went to 2 Olympics in a team sport. I won't mention her name or her sport. Let's just say that she's told some very interesting stories, and there weren't very many women in her sport who liked males. All right, so in the AFL, the umpires defeated Essendon again. Gold Coast played away, and we all know what that means. Ross Ball was alive and well, giving the Saints a huge win against a bunch of blue and yellow witches' hats. Collingwood lost, and Hawthorn players took the second ever selfie in history after inventing it a week earlier. Geelong didn't like the mud, but luckily for everyone, their second favourite team did. Port, not the Powers Magpie, had a training run. Shout out to Big Chucky Dixon, very big fan of the show. And if you like cars and people who like cars, check out Driving with Dixon on YouTube. That is Chuck's YouTube channel. Great man, even though he plays for a shit football club. The Brizzy Bears aren't a club anymore, but their love child, the Lions, became Sydney's daddy. Freo rocked the Optus Dunny Bowl, and Carlton shit their pants and almost shit the bed. In NRL, Canberra finally got to sip their own warm milk. West Balmain Tiger Magpies got bunnied by the Bunnies. Brisbane got their asses back on the winners list, dishing up a Bronco burger to Joey Johns and co. I'm pretty sure Joey Johns is still playing, even though he's also in the commentary box and probably dropping a few eckies beforehand. Allegedly. Storm cooked the Chooks. The ref snuck home against the finless but not winless Dolphins. And yes, Eddie, perhaps I have mentioned the Dolphins again. They do exist. Tommy Turbo is the only player to ever pull on a Manly jersey, allegedly. And the Queer Boys from North Queensland touched up Canterbury. Sounds kinky, and believe me, it was.
Who doesn't love a bit of kink?
Well, the Brisbane Lions and Sydney Swans love a bit of daddy kink, and they might not be the only ones in the room. That's a whole other can of worms. One of the
have us here all night.
No comment. I'll get myself cancelled and probably never have another girlfriend again. One of the world's oldest cricket clubs has been criticised by players after banning them from hitting sixes, following complaints of damage from neighbours. A batter for Southwick and Shoreham Cricket Club, who my son is actually possibly playing for in about 2 or 3 years' time for an English summer, which he'll be disturbed by this news because he doesn't mind hitting the old Tom Nicks. Located close to Brighton in West Sussex, described the move as ridiculous, while the team's treasurer said it was a proactive decision that had to be made. It came after the club's neighbours voiced their anger over damage to cars, windows and sheds, with players told they can now no longer play the sport's top-scoring shot. I mean, if you don't hit the ball in the air, you can't get caught out, right?
Well, that is true. I was going to say that's going to make it much more difficult to get them out. Is going to be more rundowns?
What are rundowns?
Well,
you're speaking to a cricketer here.
When the player's running back and they throw the ball and hit the wickets.
Yeah, okay, that's called a run out, but we'll go
with
we'll go with what you said. It sounds cooler. If you're American.
You know I'm blonde.
But are you really blonde?
Well,
don't go there. I don't need to know.
We won't comment on whether the drapes match the curtains, shall we?
Too much information. You can just tell the listeners when I'm not in the room. This is a bit sad for some people anyway. English cricket legend Sir Geoffrey Boycott's recovery from throat cancer has taken a turn for the worse, according to his family. The 83-year-old icon of the sport, who scored a lot of runs at a pretty good average in a lot of tests, underwent surgery on Thursday to remove the cancer just weeks after his latest diagnosis. And this is where it becomes contradictory, because he was discharged from hospital 2 days after the surgery and had allegedly been recovering well. So what's going on with his family? One more bit of sport. During Ronda Rousey's WWE matches, it is noticeable that she usually keeps fixing her shorts. The habit seemingly goes back to her UFC days. In an interview with Rolling Stone, the baddest woman on the planet confessed that she is always afraid of suffering an accident while fighting. She even admitted she has a phobia of her shorts revealing more than they should, stating, "And then I have a phobia about my camel toe. I swear to God, every time after I win, even before I take my mouth guard out, I pull my shorts down."
That is a millennial thing. We have issues with these moose knuckles and camel toes. I swear to God.
Moose knuckle. I remember when she had that fight in, it was called Etihad Stadium then, I think, with Holly Holmes or Holly Holm, whatever. Don't care. And Holly Holm's gone up to get her belt, and she's up on the stage. There was no moose knuckle camel toe, but there was definitely a dick. There it is, I'm cancelled.
I was going to say, did she come over from Thailand?
Very interesting. A funny story. So I didn't go this year. I didn't go on a footy trip to Thailand. I couldn't raise enough money for myself. Just going back quite a few years ago. The rest of the boys did. One of my mates was writing his name in the dirt at one point at the back of a nightclub. And anyway, this young, attractive lady walked up to him and he said, "What are you looking at?" She goes, "I'm looking at your dick, Australia boy." And he goes, "Yeah, it's pretty big, isn't it?" And she flopped hers out and said, "Well, mate, mine's a little bit bigger."
They are the best characters over there in Thailand. I swear, if you ever go to Thailand, you have to find some ladyboys. They're the best. They chased my husband down the main street of Bangkok, and that was fantastic.
Is Bangkok a somewhat ironic name for a place that's full of ladyboys? All right. This is a segment that Deb usually does, so I might not be as funny as her. Well, I'm not funny anyway, so we all know that. So on this day in 1956, Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser seized control of the Suez Canal and nationalised it, sparking a crisis that later resulted in French, British and Israeli forces briefly occupying parts of Egypt. Boring. American actress Olivia de Havilland, who won Academy Awards for her performances in To Each His Own and The Heiress, died at age 104 in 2020. That's a fairly decent innings.
I was just thinking, like, God, that's a damn good innings. I don't know if I want to live that long.
Oh, I definitely won't, because I'm probably going to get murdered tomorrow for some of the shit I've said already tonight.
I mean, look, I think I'm going to probably be done before you, Ash, let's be honest.
We'll see. Yeah, but I've watched the documentary. She was one of the actresses back in the days, what, the 1940s or whatever, where they used to force them to chain smoke and take a lot of diuretics and a lot of other things to keep them skinny so they didn't look so-called fat on screen. So she's
those candies.
Yeah, a lot of all that sort of stuff. She did really well to last that long. All things considered, compared to some of her contemporaries anyway.
Well, that's right. You know, you think most of them died in their 20s and 30s, really.
Yeah, well, how old was Judy Garland? Well, Deb would know. She would have already looked it up before I even mentioned her.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, actually.
When she did The Wizard of Oz, there's a lot of stuff going on. That was pretty horrid. Watch the documentary on that as well. There's plenty of them on YouTube if you want to know what I'm talking about. It's probably a couple of words I'm not allowed to say on Spotify.
Yeah. No, it looks like Judy Garland was 47, so not quite 20s and 30s. That was probably more Marilyn. That was the 30s.
Marilyn Monroe. No, there's a conspiracy can of worms we can open up one of these days.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love the Marilyn conspiracies?
I mentioned her name to my 13-year-old the other day, and she's like, the fuck are you talking about?
The audacity for her not to know. What are you doing, Ash?
I failed as a parent.
Look, your kids have pretty good taste in music. I'll let you go on that one, and because they support the right sports teams.
No, one of them supports Liverpool in the soccer, so she can get fucked.
As much as my middle child can. Like, seriously, I don't know how I can even claim him these days.
Yes, well, we need to do some work in that department.
We do. It would really help if Brisbane make sure they beats Collingwood in round 23, just to make sure he knows what team he should be going for.
And speaking of football and good football people, big shout out to my mate Scott. You know who Scott is too, Stacey. So
love Scott.
He is a fucking legend. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of him in the very near future. AFL fans are.
That was awesome, and I'm so fucking glad that it actually went to a true blue fan, like someone who actually bleeds it, not just someone who's coming along for the ride. Like, I'm so happy. Scott is so fucking deserving. Yeah,
and my one of my boys who had a cameo in the ad for UE Insurance that Scott originally did about a year or so ago, he was at the grand final parade, got a tap on the shoulder, turned around, and here's this bloke that he knows really well, and that was Scott. And Scott's got the phone out, whips it up and says, mate, we need to have a selfie together because we're both bloody movie stars.
Love it.
Yeah, so that was his claim to fame. So, where were we? In 2016, at the Democratic National Convention, Hillary Clinton was officially nominated for the presidential race. My notes say something different, which is just wrong. Maybe something to do with Jeffrey Epstein. But anyway, she became the first woman to top the presidential ticket of a major party in the United States. She wasn't the first black woman, though. That distinction belongs to Joe Biden. He'll never live that down.
He never will.
What do you reckon about Joe Biden? You reckon he's really dead and it's just AI?
I think it was becoming severe elder abuse to keep trumping somebody. That was a really bad word to use then, wasn't it? To keep trumping him out. To keep popping somebody out who, honestly, I think he might have a bit of dementia or Alzheimer's going on. And to keep pushing him out, what the fuck?
Yeah, it seems really weird and sus, and there's a bit going on. And a bloke at my work tried to make me watch this video today, but it kind of got a bit repetitive. But he did make some good points. It's just weird that Biden resigned from the race via X, formerly Twitter, and then he endorsed Kamala Harris, also on X, formerly Twitter, rather than actually... Watch this space. Don't kill off Joe. We need him on our show. He provides us with a lot of good material. So, famous people born on this day include former Aussie Prime Minister John Howard in 1939, and I loved him in All Saints in the Club.
Yeah, same.
And The Merger, he was good in that. Not much of a cricketer, though. If you've ever seen him try and bowl a cricket ball, he's shit. American actress and producer Sandra Bullock in 1964. I'm just going to admit I've got a guilty pleasure. Miss Congeniality.
That was one of my first crushes. That was one of my first woman-on-to-woman crush. I loved that movie. I still have it on DVD. I still watch it at least once a year.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the movie. I wasn't there to perv. Nah, joking. Of course I was. Sandra Bullock in that movie was hot.
That scene when she walks out after the makeover and her boobs are nice and perky. Who is it perving on that?
And her legs went up to her neck, as my dad used to say.
Absolutely.
Someone who's probably not in the same level of hotness as Sandra Bullock, Helen Mirren, British actress, born in 1945. An American...
She was quite a good looker back in her younger days.
You've seen her lately?
Well, you know, when I'm her age, I probably won't be as good looking as I am now.
No comment. But no, I mean, you know, if Helen Mirren wants to cougar me if she's still with us, I'm totally up for it.
Sugar mama.
Yep, I'm down. And American film director Stanley Kubrick was born in 1928. Made many, many good movies. You all know what they are. You've seen them all. Paths of Glory, if you're into war movies, is the fucking boss movie. Watch it.
Absolutely.
And it's funny how all the French people in that movie speak English with American accents, but that was the fashion of the day. All right. I'm going to test your brain out now.
Oh, fuck.
Normally it's me answering the who am I questions, but tonight you're going to do it.
Oh, great.
And my clues aren't as long and distinguished as Deb's, and neither is my Johnson.
TMI, Ash, TMI.
No, we just weekly insert a Top Gun reference into the show, and there it was.
Oh, okay. I'm not a huge fan of Top Gun. I think I've watched it maybe 3 times in my life.
We've literally mentioned that exact quote in every episode.
Well, clearly that's one of the ones that's gone right over my dumb ass.
Yeah, bloody millennials. All right, who am I? There's your first clue.
Wait, who am I? Well, you're you.
I was born in Melbourne, Australia in 1969.
Oh, fuck. Could be anyone.
I am female. I was nominated for an Oscar for my role in the movie Elizabeth in 1998, where I portrayed Elizabeth I, Queen of England, in her early years as the monarch of England.
Is that Kate Blanchett?
Fuck you.
Yes. Yes. I was like leaning towards Nicole, and then I went, no, Nicole didn't play Elizabeth.
See, I normally play along and play dumb.
I was thinking, I almost did. I should have. I'm sorry.
Right, the rest of the clues now that you've got it. I also starred in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Gift and Little Fish. The Australian government awarded me the Centenary Medal in 2001, and I was appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia in 2017, and yes, it is Kate Blanchett.
Oh, I'm actually impressed I got that, because she's the only other actress I know.
Oh, yeah, that's good. All right. Have you got a conspiracy for us?
Oh, which one do we want to start with? Do we want to go down the Trump Towers? Do we want to talk about Sean Combs and Jay-Z, or?
The floor is yours. You've got as much time as you need.
Well, I mean, I think the big topic everyone is currently discussing is clearly the assassination attempt on Trump and whether that is a setup or not. Obviously, the Secret Service lady, boss woman, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, sorry, has obviously now resigned from her position due to the failures of it all. Which, from what I've been reading online, is only leading people to further discuss the conspiracy of it all. Just because out of everything, how does one climb a building 300 to 400 yards away and get a direct shot at a campaigning presidential elector?
Well, there are also some conspiracy theorists claiming there was another shooter 800 meters away, or 800 feet away, and another one 1,400 feet away. And God, there's so many other rabbit holes to go down with this, isn't there?
Isn't it? Like, once you start going down that rabbit hole, it just opens up wide.
And there's an image getting shared around of Trump's bandage on his ear, which is a triangular shape, has 2 dots of blood. It makes it look like a Klan hood. And aren't the lefties loving that? That's total evidence that he's a racist.
I mean, look, it is Trump, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I'm no Trump fan, but that little one there was a bit over the top.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm not Trump's fan either. You know, don't really get into American politics in particular, because the way that they just do things, I'm just like, huh? Why? You know, like, even the way that they all complain about who their president is, but yet majority of them don't vote anyway. And it's like, well,
if you don't vote, do you really have a say?
Exactly. But no, this whole Trump thing has really opened the door. You know, Biden came out saying, I didn't set it up and everything. And it's, out of all of the politicians, let's be honest, Trump is probably the most likely to have set it up.
Oh, look, there has to be some sort of a setup involved, someone. And they reckon that some guy did some tracking on the mobile phone of the shooter and had that phone pinging in the FBI headquarters several times in the lead up. How true that is, only no one knows, to be honest. Only the people at the telco would know, but yeah.
Although Julian Assange is back in Australia, if anyone could find that out.
Yeah, well, we all know about my person I know, real name Richard, allegedly, who took a cultural holiday when Julian Assange was freed. Make of that what you will. What else you got for us?
So the other one I've been reading about lately has obviously been with Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever the hell you want to call him these days, fleeing the country after all those videos were found, and just how far involved it's actually going to come out, you know.
What were the videos?
a lot of not just pornography, but a lot of abuse and things of that nature going down that track. Obviously, the Illuminati vibes with the celebrities and all the darkness that they talk about that the celebs are willing to do and whatnot. So it really came to light, after Cassie took him to court and won her court battle for her abuse and the sex trafficking and things. And the current talk is that it's going to get much bigger. Stars like Jay-Z will be getting looked at and being brought into it all. Make of that what you guys will, and who he's associated with. Because, I was a big fan of hers, but reading about all of this and everything lately has been a bit eye-opening as to who's really ruling the world.
Didn't Kanye West run for president at some point?
He was going to. And then the schizophrenia took over and he pulled out, or he didn't end up going through with it. Was
it him or Jay-Z that posted all those racist rants on Instagram and then deleted them all?
Oh, it's always Kanye. Yeah. Always yay.
and then apparently he put a picture of Jonah Hill up about 6 months later and said, Jewish people are all right because Jonah Hill makes me laugh.
Yes. Only Ye would do something like that. Jay-Z is much more quieter about all of that. But there is, I'm trying to think of the woman's name. I'm going to have to find it. She's currently doing a few talks and that's making the rounds. As well as, did you ever watch That's So Raven?
Occasionally.
I'm trying to think. Orlando. I think it's not Orlando Bloom, it's Orlando Brown.
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Brown is also talking all about this Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and all the dark side of this celebrity side of it all, after Josh Peck came out and talked about all the abuse and whatnot.
I think with all the people speaking out against Bill Cosby in the last decade, it's given a lot of people, I guess, a bit of the guts to come out and speak out against other celebrities that do a lot of dark shit. And
absolutely,
there's a lot of dark shit going on and a lot of some pretty horrific stories. Partying definitely is a lot different in celebrity world than what it is in our world.
Absolutely, it's unbelievable. They
do not even have fairy bread at their parties. Bastards.
I know. Who doesn't have fairy bread? Or at least, Frankfurt's little boys?
I bet you Hugh Jackman and Chris Hemsworth have fairy bread at their parties.
I could guarantee. And they probably have honey joys and chocolate crackles too.
Yep, because they're fucking Australian.
Exactly.
And that's how we roll. Russell Crowe does it because he's not really Australian, he's a Kiwi. And unless he does something good, then he's ours.
That's right. He's too busy serving pavlova trying to claim that he's Australian with the pavlova.
Which is from New Zealand anyway.
Exactly.
And shout out to my Kiwi Cuzzy bros down in Christchurch. I haven't disowned you yet.
As you know, my son's Barno is all in New Zealand too, so we love New Zealand. We do. We bag on you because you're our younger brothers and sisters, and we can.
Yeah, and just a hot tip for any New Zealanders: cook the man some fucking eggs.
Yes.
That was a bit harsh. Movie endings, the best movie ending of all time has to be Once With Warriors, when Uncle Bully got what was coming to him.
100%. 100%. If you haven't watched Once With Warriors, you need to watch that. It's very, very, it is very hardcore about some of the topics. Grace taking her life. If you don't cry at that, then you're an even cold-hearted bastard more than me, and that's saying something. It's one of the most powerful movies, I think, that actually really touched on the realities of life.
Being part Kiwi myself, there's not a dirty, dark secret because everybody knows that. Not part Maori. No, I'm white. I'm a white trash.
Yep. Pakeha.
Whiskey Tango, as my American friends like to call me. But the scene from that movie was when young fella Boogie does the haka with the people from the boys' home. That fucking made me tear up so much. And being an All Blacks fan, of course, that kind of had a connection there. And what becomes of the Broken Hearted, the sequel to that movie?
Yes.
There's a scene in that where the old bloke who comes out of prison, hooks up with a much younger lady, and I'll give you 12 seconds later, she says, "We was making love," and he goes, "Is that what you call it?" And can relate.
She got 12 seconds. That's more than most.
I mean, that's a pretty long time, isn't it?
It is. It's more than 2 pumps. You should consider yourself lucky.
Don't believe what you see in porn, people. That's probably 18 sessions cut into one.
Correct. That's got to be a 3-week project.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of which, so good friend of the show, Karen, alerted me to the fact that Boogie Nights is one of her favourite movies of all time, and if you haven't seen that is a good movie. Just not sure if that's actually Marky Mark's wang at the end of it. Don't think it's his real one.
That is another conspiracy, isn't it? Is it or isn't it? If anyone has seen, can you please let us know?
Well, what's that movie that Leo DiCaprio did, the one where he's a stockbroker?
Wolf of Wall Street?
That's the one. That's a fucking good movie. I really enjoyed that.
How good was Margot Robbie in that?
Yeah. Oh, she was great. But Jonah Hill, walking around with his dick hanging out, I don't think that was really his dick either.
No, not in this day and age. You wouldn't be allowed to, because it could be classed as sexual harassment. I mean, nobody wants a one-eyed monster looking at them.
Maybe that's why old mate Ye was so enthused by Jonah Hill. Anyway, so I've got a conspiracy of sorts taken from, well, now if you want to see images that relate to this, go to Inside History on Instagram, or you can go to NASA's Instagram as well. So NASA found a perfectly cut trillion-ton rectangular iceberg that is 3 times the size of Manhattan floating off the Larsen Sea ice shelf, and the images are allegedly shocking. The iceberg appears to be in the shape of a perfect rectangle with smooth, even walls and 90-degree angles. The iceberg sits like a giant floating sheet cake. What the fuck is a sheet cake? Near the east coast of the Antarctic Peninsula. Called a tabular iceberg, one must wonder how it's formed when there are generally no straight lines in nature. However, according to NASA, it is a natural phenomenon. Now, when you look at the pics, they do look a little bit dodgy. So, anyone who does look at the pics, come back and give us a bit of feedback. I'd really like your thoughts on that.
And do you know how smart I was that when you said NASA, for some reason I went to NASA for maths, not NASA, the space station. But to answer your other question, a sheet cake is what the Americans call the flat rectangle cakes that you get from like Kmart, Costco.
Okay. Well,
that does look fake, doesn't it?
You've been to Costco in Melbourne, haven't you?
Oh, mate, all the time.
I've always wanted to try it out. Yeah, so all right, well, let's get into a bit of word association. So you know how this works? Sometimes we have multiple choice and you get to pick one, and sometimes I tell you a word and you just have to answer the first word that comes to your head. And these are sent in by Herb Eva Smells. Herb Eva Smells. Yeah, okay. Righto. This is getting ridiculous. All right, you ready?
When you're ready.
Summer.
Nights.
Boner.
Killer.
Sparta.
Kid.
Lemonade.
Milk.
Beer.
Goggles.
Sexy time.
2 seconds.
Best 2 seconds you had all day.
That's
Allegedly.
all you get when you got kids, mate. In and out, you're done.
Yeah. Massive.
Dick.
Rory Lobb.
That's what I mean. I was like, well, we've been talking about a massive dick tonight.
Airplane.
Views.
Hidden.
Trap.
Interesting. Armour.
Train.
Deb just sent me a message saying Taylor.
Swift.
There it is. There's the reference. Laughter.
Laughter. Giggle.
Gossip.
Girl.
Have you ever watched it?
Oh, of course.
Is it good?
I love Gossip Girl. I made the husband watch it.
Or bastard. Would I like it? Probably not.
Probably not. I think you would like Chuck Bass.
Okay. I have no idea who that is, but I'll take your word for it. Boyfriend.
Girlfriend.
Yeah. Water.
Boy.
Lubricant.
Jelly.
Interesting. That's really kinky.
Well, it's because I'm picturing, like, when you said lubricant, I'm picturing the lubricant on the shelf and it says lubricant gel.
Well, at least,
I just did a carry Qantas.
at least you didn't answer sexy time with Zoom because that's personal.
No, I can't afford to pay people. I would not be able to make money off of that sort of stuff, Ash.
Oh, OnlyFans now, is it?
I tried and failed. No, I didn't. I didn't. For all my family and friends, I didn't actually. I don't have the balls to do it.
I had this girl on my Instagram following list sent me a link one day. He said, click on this. And I'm like, no, I'm not clicking on this because it's probably going to fuck my device up. She goes, no, it's my OnlyFans. I'm like, what the fuck's an OnlyFans? She goes, trust me, you want to see this. And she goes, and I'll even give you a free subscription. I still don't know what OnlyFans is because I didn't click on the fucking link. But I do know that British singer Lily Allen has been putting feet pics on there and making a fortune.
Yeah, a few celebrities are doing it. Iggy Azalea actually gave up her rap career for it because she's Iggy Azalea.
Who?
Wait, no. Oh fuck! What's her name?
Who the fuck even is that?
Iggy, the rapper from his.
Yeah, I know. I know who it is.
Oh, you're fucking with me. I'm like, did I have the name wrong? I'm trying to think there.
I've got teenagers. I know stuff.
Yeah, so apparently she decided that she's going to make more money off of OnlyFans that goes into her pocket. So she's not going to do music as much anymore. So she's not paying all the others.
Yeah. Do you reckon I should have an OnlyFans?
Hey, why not give it a go? You never know. You could at least get some collabs going.
Mm-hmm. You have to find a collaborative partner for that.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty out there, Ash.
Yeah. Well, there was that. What was she? 24-year-old last or 23-year-old last episode who found herself a 44-year-old man with money. So I'm still at it. All right. We'll get into some blind raking. Do you know how this works?
Oh, no.
I read out something to you and you have to rank it from 1 to 10. Okay. And yeah, you got to try and remember what ranks you've given.
Oh, God.
You probably know what most of these things are, so you've probably all of them. So we're going to be blind raking spirits, as in alcoholic spirits.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, what spirits are we going? The beverages or the ghostly type?
Yeah, well, yeah. All right. And there's no particular order, so you get what you get. Starting with Bundy.
10. Wait, is 10 the best or the worst?
Worst.
10.
That's very un-Australian of you.
I don't like Bundy. Oh.
And that's Bundaberg rum for anyone who lives outside of Queensland.
Correct. Those of us in Victoria are not fans.
I've got a mate who every time he drinks Bundy, he ends up in jail.
Well, I'm not that bad. I just do stupid things.
That's kind of what he does.
Yeah, well, mine aren't. Well, I have never been arrested. I'm not going to say they probably haven't been worthwhile offences, but I've never been caught.
I've been arrested and it wouldn't be for what anyone thought it would be for if they knew me. Jim Beam.
About a 4.
Vodka of any variety, I'm assuming.
A 5.
And these were sent in by someone who sent us some other feedback. I'll tell you who it was. Actually, it was Corn Dogger from last episode who sent in some feedback. So, Corn Dogger, whatever your real name is, thank you for this, you alcoholic bastard. Malibu.
A 3.
And I reckon Deb would have put that as a 1.
See, yeah, no. I like Malibu because you can add it, make a lot of nice cocktails with it.
It is a nice drink, actually, I must admit. Not a coconut fan, but I think that was the moment that I knew it was true love with Deb when she was drinking Malibu sitting next to me. And I smelt it on her breath. Anyway, I'll probably cut that bit out.
Fair enough.
Jack Daniels.
6.
Ouzo. Any
9.
brand. Ooh. Scotch.
1. Is
7.
that any brand Scotch?
Yeah, any brand of your choice.
Number 1. Monkey shoulder.
Southern Comfort.
7.
What are your thoughts on Southern Comfort? Do you think it's actually really a drink of alcohol, or is it just like drinking Clayton's?
More like drinking Clayton's, I reckon.
I had a mate back when we were teenagers, and he'd drink like 3 bottles of Southern at every party. I think he was hard-assed. And yeah.
In my day, it was the good old Woodstocks.
Yeah, cheap and nasty shit. The old 440ml cans for $6 for $19 then at the local.
Yep, or the Passion Pop or the UDLs.
Yeah, which UDLs did you drink?
Oh, fuck, probably the orange ones.
Vodka and orange.
Yep.
I was always the Ouzo and Coke.
Yeah. I used to be, yeah, but now it's just give me cocktails. I love a good cocktail. Long Island iced tea done properly. Beautiful.
Well, for the Northern Queenslanders amongst our listenership, I'm into the Black Sharks and the White Sharks. Also known as Great Northerns.
I was going to see how long it took for somebody to mention it, and then I realised it's only you and I.
We got 2 left.
Oh, God, what are the other 2?
Got Midori or Maduri, however you like to say it.
8.
And Gin.
God damn it. I guess that's got to be my 2, doesn't it? I hate gin.
You always put the shittest one last.
Always.
That's like Deb ending up with vinegar-soaked chips at the local footy as her number 1 the other week.
See, I was smart. I got my Scotch as number 1.
So, well, I got The Incredible Hulk as my number 1 Marvel because A, he's the only one I'd heard of at that stage, and B, Hulk Smash.
Yes. Hulk Smash.
I'll tell you a couple of little stories about gin. So back in year 12 in high school, we had our formal. And I might have embarrassed myself the day before by telling this girl that I had a crush on her in front of a lot of people. I didn't realize they were listening. I thought it was just a private conversation, but everyone heard it. And anyway, she laughed at me when everyone else started laughing at me. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to this bullshit sober. I was already 18 as it was. So make it that what you will. My dad had a bar with a lot of booze in it. And I had been swiping little bits and pieces of booze over time and replacing it with things that looked the same but didn't taste the same.
As was the Generation X and Millennial right to do.
And anyway, I knew I could get really fucked up on gin really quickly, but I also knew I could sober up really quickly too from it. It just didn't last on me. And we had a soda stream machine. And soda streams used to have these little glass bottles, about 330 ml. And we also had a slab of the little 250 ml, like some people in some parts of Australia call them poppers, others call them primers. You know, you all know what I'm talking about. Full of Ribena.
Good old Ribena.
The old black currant juice. Well, I mixed a lot of those into some bottles with a hell of a lot of gin. Had a big overcoat that I wore to the formal with some hidden pockets full of these bottles because one of my parents drove me there, and because being 18 and it was at a reception centre, it was actually a bar, but you had to prove you're 18. But I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna do my own shit here. And I got really fucked up really, really fucking quickly. So I drank them all at once. I ended up dancing with the girl that I told that I had a crush on.
So it worked?
No, because I vomited down her back.
Oh, God, Ash.
And then she vomited down my front. And then about 4 other people vomited around us.
Oh, God.
And it was
generally that's how the marriage story starts, isn't it?
It was right in the middle of a slow dance too, as some fucking love song.
Oh, you poor things. That would have been like absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. I would never have been able to look at anybody ever again. I've been like, don't ever come near me again.
Wait, I had my exams about 2 weeks later. And I did not go to one single exam sober.
Did you get a better score than you would have if you were?
I got a fucking really good score. Got past them all very convincingly. And one of them was this one where we had to write an essay on a book we'd read at the start of the year. We had to do it from memory. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to get this one done. Like, I've got no idea. I can't even remember the main character of the book, let alone what the book was about. So, raided my dad's bar again, 2-litre cordial bottle, a bit of this, bit of this, bit of this, bit of that, a little bit of everything that was in the bar. There's a lot of different things in there.
Oh, God, not a Jungle Juice punch bowl.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it was. And I sculled the whole fucking bottle.
Oh, fuck.
Went into my exam, aced it, got up, stood up in the middle of the exam, started singing that song "To Be With You" by Mr. Big, the big power ballad to one of my teachers, and then vomited all over the fucking table.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, the good old days, hey.
And I got 100% on the exam.
Trying to do that again now.
Yeah. That's yeah. Whew. What a story, eh? All right. So I didn't tell you to prepare for this, but I'm going to, well, you're a listener anyway. You know what we talk about. What have you been listening to lately?
Music-wise, I've been smashing Eminem's new album.
What do you think of it?
I fucking love it. He's coming for all of the council culture, little whiny, whingy bitches, and he's just said, fuck you all, try and cancel me.
I like it. I've only heard the one song was the first single. I don't know what it's called, but he was taking the piss out of himself.
Houdini.
Yeah, sounds about right. I do like a lot of Eminem's sort of his more earlier stuff.
This is going back to his earlier stuff. So he's pretty much just coming for everyone.
Probably those first 3 albums of his, really creative and intelligent, clever songwriting. Also like the stuff he did with D12.
Yes. Rest in peace, Bizarre.
There's a song of D12 that I have to listen to with my headphones on because if I play it in public, there might be some words that people don't like.
There's a few songs like that out there.
Yeah, I was in a workplace for a sort of brief period where I was in control of the music that got played on the night shift.
I can see why that didn't last long.
I had a playlist that involved NWA, plus every member of NWA's solo projects, Ice-T, Body Count, a lot of other rappers and the rock band spin-offs that a few of them did. And let's just say I was not very popular with management.
Look, I can understand that. I got barred from controlling the music at the pub that I managed back in the day, and to the point where they actually paid a company to control the music so that people like me couldn't fuck with it.
Yeah, I still remember. It's funny now. I my kids to turn their music down, and it's actually the music I used to listen to when I was their age.
Yes.
I've become that guy.
Hey, you saw the other week when I posted a video of my son, my teenage son, rocking out to Blink in the middle of the night, and I'm like, the only reason I'm upset is that I have to tell you to keep it down because your sister's trying to sleep. I was so fucking proud that he wasn't listening to any of this Carly Rae Jepsen bullshit, and he's listening to Blink.
Well, I mean, you can call me maybe, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I can call you anytime.
You could. Doesn't mean I'm going to answer if I see your name pop up.
Oh, I'll remember that.
You know I'll answer.
On the second or third time when you know it's important.
all depends if I'm already on a call with someone else of importance.
Yeah, that's fair. I rank down towards the bottom, and I accept my role.
Oh no, I reckon I've got you outside of obviously parents and kids. Probably got you in the top 5. So take that. That's a win for you.
Yes. Go me.
And a very good friend of ours, Jules.
I love Jules. We love you, Jules.
Yeah, I don't know if she's listened to this show yet, but she listens to my other show.
I'll make her.
We were having a little bit of a discussion about you this evening, and she said that beneath all the tough guy act, you're actually a nice person. Actually, she said beautiful human being, but I don't want to pump you up too much because
you guys aren't meant to give away my secrets. People are meant to think that I'm just this evil bitch with, no kindness to me.
We all know the real story.
This is true. There is a bit of a beating heart deep down in there. It just takes special people to bring that out.
And Jules is one of those people, without a doubt.
And Cal, we love our good friend Callie as well. She's a beautiful angel, and she's gone through some rough times in the last few years, but it's great to see her coming out on the other end.
One of the strongest people I know, that's definitely for sure. And we love her.
We do. And both of them are raising beautiful kids.
They are. As are both of us with our own individual kids. We don't have the same kids, listeners.
No, we don't. They're just cousins.
We're not from Adelaide. So I've been listening to a lot of a band called Of Mice and Men. they're an American hard rock band. Well, they call themselves hard rock. They were formed in California in 2009. A lot of people would call them metalcore, which is probably where I would have them, along the lines of bands like Parkway Drive. I've just lost the name of this other band. But anyway, people know Parkway Drive. They're a very similar sort of band, like Dead Letter Circus as well, that I popped up a couple of weeks ago. Have we got company?
Yes, the little lady just quickly was calling for me, and I'm like, shit, I better run out there. Go on, go.
Yes, well.
Okay, we're free again.
A good friend of mine wrote me a comedy routine about Collingwood, in particular Nick Dacos and some of their fans, and Jordan DeGoey. One day when I get the guts, I'm going to do an open mic, and I'm going to do it.
Do it. And I want to record it and play it to my husband.
Well, he already wants to kill me as it is, but
no, he likes you. He likes you.
Dave, the check is in the mail.
That's not what he said. He wanted a little bit of tickle Ash from you.
Well, my 15-year-old son is going back to playing football next year. He's had a year off. One of the things he said to me, he'll actually kick my ass for saying this, and he's taller than me now. So one of the things he's looking forward to is get the club he will be playing for do not have cubicles or dividers in their showers. It's all no shy guys, all in.
I love it. But you know what? That is part of the sports spirit. All the boys and all the girls all being in the showers together, whipping each other and being eggs. Just don't whip the testicles.
No sack taps.
Yeah. You do not want... I went down a rabbit hole last night after reading about that supposed rumour about a certain player having apparently... I think it's pretty fake, but I'd read the rumour about the ruptured testicle, and then that took me on a deep dive down of what penises and testicles can go through, and I'm extremely glad that I have a period and a vagina right now. No, you guys can have testicular fractures, penis fractures, hairs, testicular torsions.
I'm literally closing my legs right now, just to have you know.
That's what I'm saying. And that's just off the top of my head. I was reading a whole list of things. Twisting. I didn't know that your things could get all twisted up inside of each other.
They can.
I did not know any of that, and I feel extremely sorry for male.
And I have had that happen, and I had to get my balls fondled by about 14 different medical professionals to find out what was wrong, why I was in pain, and how the hell they're going to fix it. And it was not comfortable.
No, it does not sound comfortable to me. I think I probably wouldn't rather go through childbirth again, because you have just as many hands going inside of you then too. But at least I got something cute at the end of it. What do you get? Just not pain.
Not being in pain is good, though. So anyway, back to Of Mice and Men, as we were, because talking about dicks and balls being in pain is painful.
Yeah.
So they've released 8 studio albums. They're probably my favourite is Restoring Force from 2014. It's got a black cover if you're looking for it on the shelves of your local music store. Do they even exist anymore? Probably not. They were the good days, though.
They were going into Sanity and things like that.
Brushes and the original JB Hi-Fi. You've just muted yourself. No, you're back.
Yes, no, I muted myself because the little one kept coming back.
And some of their better songs are You Make Me Sick, which is always the first song I listen to when I go to the gym. So where was I? You Make Me Sick, like I said, that's a good song. I always play that. It's first up at the gym. It's a good motivation for myself. Never Giving Up is a bit of a power ballad. Bones Exposed and Would You Still Be There are good songs as well. So if anyone's into a bit of metalcore or sort of heavy rock, they're a good band. What have you been watching?
I have been rewatching One Tree Hill because we're about to start rewatching all of Cobra Kai because the new season and final season's coming out.
I still haven't watched Cobra Kai, actually.
Ash, get on it.
Big Karate Kid fan, of course. It's it's a generational thing.
It is. No, it's so good. They've done it well. It's not one of those ones that you're going, why the fuck did you do this?
No, look, both of my sons have watched it and they rave about it. And I will get to it eventually. I've got this big long list of shit that my cousin in Norway has provided to me.
And see, my ADHD goes through phases where I have to just watch a familiar show. So I'll watch a show and then watch a new show, watch a familiar show. Like at night, I have to fall asleep watching Friends every single night.
Interesting. I mean, Friends makes me want to fall asleep too.
No, don't be mean. Friends is the greatest TV show ever.
Who's your favourite character?
Chandler and Monica.
Interesting.
So what are you watching?
Yeah, well, I've finished watching the first season of Les Norton. I brought that up a couple of weeks ago. Pretty good Aussie show, and very. If anyone's seen Mr. In Between, it's pretty similar to that, but a bit funnier, a bit more on the comedic side. David Wenham's in it. Alexandra Bertrand, who is in another great movie called Australian Gangster. That shows us how fucking dumb some of the people in that scene are. Especially people in Sydney, and I didn't really say that. You just heard me wrong. We love we love gangsters and tough guys and hard asses. They're good.
Yeah, we love our Crips and Bloods brothers and things like that.
Yeah, and all those guys. And yeah, I've been watching a lot of YouTube documentaries as well of all sorts of wild and wonderful topics, and I don't know if I should admit to this. So there's a video on the Patreon for my other show. Someone telling a story about something, and I might have watched that over and over again. But that's another story. It was a good video for a good topic. And a good host. Wasn't me. I was just there in the background. Yeah, so that's that. But I've also did start watching Vikings Valhalla, the season 3, which is out, and I'll probably go back to finish watching that now that I guess a lot of the family stuff's been sort of taken care of now. And that seems to be pretty good. I think the second season of that was shit. Didn't really have much flow, and the storyline sort of was a bit wishy-washy. This one seems a lot stronger. So, yeah.
You've done well to push through because, once I get bored of a show in the second season, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, and they haven't just gone and inserted, like, black female characters in the role of a white male king of Norway, for example, like they did in one of the other seasons. They've actually got black characters, but they are playing black characters that they're based on. They got white characters. So there's no race swapping or anything like that. They're actually being pretty true to the history of the world of those days. So that's really good. And I mean, a lot of old movies have a lot of white people pretending to be Chinese or black, and it just looks stupid.
I agree.
They should have just got the actual real people to do it, because there's so many great black and Asian actors around in those days that, like Bruce Lee, when he was on that little superhero show, was relegated to this, bit part role. And look how good he became as an actor in his own movies once he got that opportunity.
Absolutely, and every country, every nation, they all have their own, like you look at India with the Bollywood stars and things like that. Every single, nation has its own set of TV and movie stars because things are produced in their own countries and whatnot.
That's right. How much fun is Bollywood? Have you watched any of it?
I have. They're so entertaining. Like, I've sat there, and I'm quite lucky that, I work in a very multicultural office workplace.
Mm.
So, I get some of them to show me some of the videos at lunchtime, and they sit there telling me the stories and how they're singing and they're dancing throughout it all. And I'm just like, holy shit, like, I didn't realize it was that in depth. I was thinking it was going to be like, oh, two kids fell in love. It's like, no, they fell in love. He betrayed her, so she did this, and it's all of this. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, but we don't tell the story in words. We do it in song.
Exactly.
And for the Simpsons fans, they don't lie to anyone in song.
Well, the Simpsons lie. The Simpsons are pretty goddamn accurate, Ash.
Very indeed they are. They've got a lot of things right. When I lived up in sort of your neck of the woods somewhat, before it became suburban, when it was actually the bush where you live now, just up the road from there, there used to be across the road from us a Punjabi family, and every Saturday night they'd have a big party. They'd have a Punjabi DJ, and it actually would turn into a street party by about midnight.
Of course.
So much fun. They used to invite us over, and obviously I didn't get up and dance because I can't fucking dance. I mean, the last time I danced with anyone was at my Year 12 formal, and I vomited on her back, as we know.
And that's why he doesn't dance, people. So maybe we should all be very grateful.
Also, I can't use that word. I look like. Imagine putting you can't put a frog in a blender and turn it on. Don't do that. Don't do it. Everything I think of is going to get me cancelled and make me sound cruel. Let's just say, I look like a marionette from that Team America World Police movie trying to dance. Speaking of Team America World Police, how good was the sex scene in that movie? Have you seen that one?
No, haven't seen that movie yet.
Watch it. It is one of the best sex scenes in the history of movies.
Can I just watch the sex scene?
You'll find it. Also, in Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yeah.
That movie has a better sex scene than Forrest Gump when Jenny and Forrest do it.
Has it got better sex scenes than Sex in the City with Samantha?
Pushing the relationship now. So I haven't watched that for a very long time. I'm trying to. Which one's Samantha? Is that Kim Cattrall?
Yes, it is.
Show my age here, but fuck, she was hot in the Police Academy movies.
She was hot in Sex in the City too. Wait, Sex in the City, the TV show, not the movie. No,
the movie was shit. And my fellow co-host on my other podcast, We Had a Pride, Brisbane Lions podcast.
Good old Al.
Al is a massive fan of Kim Cattrall in the Police Academy days. Let's just hope his missus isn't listening because she might smack him.
The missus is probably going, you know what, Al? Go and watch some Kim and leave me alone. I want to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I can only remember the jackhammer scene with what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker's.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know which guy I'm talking about it was?
You couldn't see, I was just doing the movement for her.
That's the only sex scene I can remember from watching that show. So it's been way too long. And the one where there's a photo of one of the girls in the newspaper for a wedding announcement.
Charlotte.
And she has like a bit of soot on her top lip and she looks like Hitler.
Yes.
Fuck. And she was marrying a Jewish girl, I think, too, which...
Couldn't do that in 2024, could you?
No. So, speaking of fuckwits as we were, have you got a fuckwit for us?
Oh, I mean, take your pick.
I know the world has many, but you can pick one.
Oh, God, that's a hard one. You give me your one first while I'm thinking of my one, because I've got a couple, so I'm trying to narrow it down.
Well, mine is someone I know personally, and I do apologise for anyone who doesn't like the C word. I'm about to drop it.
Ha!
So the person who thought that rolling their eyes at me while I spoke at my dad's funeral was a good idea, you know who you are. You had a clear Friday fuckwit, so fuck you, you cunt.
I think is too nice of a word for the person and how they behaved. I think they're lower than a wombat's dick. I honestly think that is too nice of a word, because that's a really useful, like, they're useful, they're powerful, they're strong. That person is none of those things.
She's also been known as ankles.
Yeah.
Because she's lower than one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
look, I'm trying to think and decide. I think I'm going to have to go with my husband this week.
Ooh.
Shots are being fired.
Mm.
So my husband works on machinery.
Mm.
And he had a particular customer who didn't want his machine dirtied, the outside of his machine. So my husband proceeded to work on it in his socks.
Just his socks.
His socks. He still had his overalls and things on. But for me, I'm just like, you're a fuckwit.
What colour were his socks before he started?
Yellow.
What colour were they when he finished?
Black.
Well, all of my socks are black, so I can't say much. But
yes, no, I'm going to give my husband the fuckwit award for this week for me.
Interesting.
Although technically maybe I should give it to myself too, because I do a lot of fuckwit shit during the week too.
Like what?
This week it was telling my husband I was going to pull the chicken out and then I didn't. And then I got angry at him. So I was like, yeah, I'm a fuckwit.
That is such a woman thing to do though, isn't it? Not being misogynistic here, because we do some pretty fucked up shit as well.
So no, I'll own it. It was a fuckwit moment. I'm a fuckwit. Or maybe like saying that the AFL lawyer clearly hasn't ever played an AFL game.
Then it turns out they've played over 100. It's funny you mentioned husbands and wives and little quirky things. So I had this guy working with me for a day last week. It was his second last day with the company. He hadn't been there for very long. Anyway, he was bragging to me all day how he's a real alpha male at home, dominates his wife, and he's this and that. She doesn't tell him what to do, and he's in charge. He's the man. When he wants to have sex, she just lays there and is ready for him because she just reads his mind. All this sort of stuff. He's in control of the money, the car, the house. Anyway, halfway through the day, he goes, "Can you take me to KFC? I just want to grab some lunch." "Oh, yeah, all right. No worries." Goes to KFC, jumps back in the vehicle, starts eating his lunch. His phone rings. He's like, "Oh, it's my missus." He goes, "You don't mind if I put on the speaker, do you?" "No, go for it." This missus goes, "What the fuck were you doing eating KFC, you dickhead?" And he turned to fucking water. Mr. Big Andrew Tate wannabe turned to fucking water.
It's the power of the...
So, my friend, you are also the Friday fuckwit. All right. Well, we have covered everything. Do you have any final thoughts you want to unload?
No, I just want to thank you for bringing me on tonight to be part of your co-hosting team for tonight. It's been an absolute honour.
Well, thanks for coming on. So the plan was that we were going to get you on as a guest, and we're probably going to make you feel very uncomfortable with some of these quizzes. We'll probably had some more harder ones stashed away.
Of course, you and Deb, that's all you've ever planned to do, but that's how you know we're family and we love each other.
Yes, that's true. And, yeah, just what thoughts are with Deb and her family and everyone at the moment. So if I could wrap my arms around her right now, I would.
I'd wrap my arms around both of you and give you both big hugs because you're both going through shit at the moment.
Indeed, we are. So my final thoughts, as the listeners of last episode now would know, we do have to have a name change. This is our last episode under the Shift Talk banner. I managed to talk the 2 vasectomy nurses into letting us use the name one more time. And absolutely no one got my joke about them talking about tackle boxes and fishing last week. Vasectomy nurses, tackle.
It goes hand in hand. Family jewels.
That one brought the absolute crickets. So, yeah, there's a few issues. They weren't too happy with us, and they've actually copyrighted their name. So, yeah, shit happens. But we will be back next week with all of your favourite segments and a very new name. Thank you to our now good friend of the show, Scarlett. And if you've listened from the beginning, you'll know what the name is going to be. So we have a new theme music, as you would have heard already tonight. That's going to be our theme music going forward. And we will be getting Stacey back on as a guest at some point in the future because, as I said, that was the plan for tonight. It just, unfortunately, things didn't quite go the way we planned in other departments. So, and we do miss Deb tonight.
Absolutely. We love you, Deb. And, you know, she's got big shoes to fill. Well, I had big shoes to fill, I meant. Sorry.
I was waiting for it. That infectious giggle of hers just, warms the cockles of my heart and maybe even the subcockles.
I was going to say, I think it doesn't just, I think it goes a bit further down.
No comment. All right. Well, that'll do us. And thanks for coming on, Stacey. And thank you, listeners, for getting this far. As Dan Snow on the history podcast I listen to would always say at the end, that's proper tenacity, that. He's probably now going to send me a cease and desist as well.
Always getting into trouble.
Yep. And that'll do us. Because I'm probably going to have to bleep out where I said.
That's fine. And me.
No, that's all right. You can get away with it. All right. That'll do us. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, buddy. I'll speak to you later.
Cheerio.
Bye.